Now, another conflict that's captured the world's attention is the one between Israelis and Palestinians. VOA's Scott Bobb traveled to the West Bank recently to see how the conflict is affecting farmers.
Palestinian farmers in the Jordan River Valley say they are facing a disaster because of water shortages they blame on Israel. But farmers on Israeli settlements are also losing money. So what's at the root of all this? Scott explains.
A late winter day in the Jordan Valley. Hussein Atiyat is assessing his corn crop near the West Bank town Al-Uja. He does not like what he sees.
Under the current circumstances, no, there'll be no crop. Because if we had water since we planted, the corn would be a meter high by now.
Poor rains are partly responsible, but Atiyat says Israeli authorities who control this part of the West Bank will not let him bring water from the nearby Jordan River.
What are the conditions for Palestinian farmers in the Jordan Valley?
Well, the Palestinian farmers I spoke to and some of the activists that support them say, one, they've had terrible rains, so their crops have not grown what they should have so far, and some of them are expecting to lose most, if not all, of their crops. So for them, they're facing financial catastrophe. This is aggravated by the fact that their wells and aquifers have gone dry in many cases, and so they're unable to bring water to these farms and plots of lands that they farm. They complain that the Israeli security forces, because this is an Israeli security zone in this part of the West Bank, are keeping them from accessing water in the Jordan River and even accessing their wells sometimes. And then they also complain that, and this has not been proven, that in some cases water is being diverted from their aquifers in order to irrigate the farms of nearby Israeli settlers.
Was there a distinct difference that was apparent to you between the farming communities of both sides? Well,
yes, the Israeli farms did look better managed, better. The crops were growing very well. There's irrigation, this drip irrigation that they've specialized. What they complain about is, and what's threatening them, is the boycott of products made by Israelis in the West Bank territories, the Palestinian territories. This boycott, which is especially strong in Western Europe lately, has affected their revenues, because even though they're able to sell their produce elsewhere, namely in Eastern Europe, they're getting much lower prices for it, and in some cases are not breaking even.
Are there any issues among the Palestinians who decide to work for Israeli settlements and the Palestinians who are trying to farm in their own land?
I've talked to Palestinians who do both, and I sense no resentment among anyone. It's basically understanding. People say, look, if I couldn't find a job because of the Israeli occupation, quote unquote, they would say, well, I might have to go to work on an Israeli farm myself. And so there's no stigma, at least in what they tell you officially, attached to that.
We've seen a flurry of efforts recently coming from the United States, specifically U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry, to try to get the two sides to talk and to reach agreement and to try to negotiate peace. How likely is it that we'll see Kerry succeed in this?
Well, most people I talk to on both sides say the odds are very, very slim that this will succeed. The actual purpose of the current round is to just get the two sides to agree to talk. They're just talking about talking, and if this round succeeds, then they will begin negotiations. So we're in very, very early stages, and even at this early stage where they really aren't even going to have an agreement, they're just going to have proposals that they can express reservations about. Even at this very early stage, both sides are expressing severe doubts and reservations about being able to continue.
What's the word among the Palestinians and Israelis that you spoke to in terms of what their hope is for the future?
Public opinion polls show that most Palestinians and most Israelis would like peace. They also show that there's a great deal of mistrust. A lot of this stemming from the Second Intifada, which saw a lot of terrorist attacks on civilians. And you have periodic clashes every day just about. There are incidents, whether it's rock throwing or whether it's people being killed, and this does not help. So I think there's this desire to reach an agreement, to reach peace, despite the obstacles and the feelings of injustice and mistrust on both sides. But it's just very difficult for them to talk at this stage.
All right, and again, that was VOA Mideast correspondent Scott Bobb.